Hi, so welcome. What I want to quickly do here is to show you a template of what your presentations could look like. Really, I want to reiterate that the goal of this presentation really is to get feedback. As you present your idea to your peers, you'll be surprised how much input you would get from your peers as well as from myself. Your presentation will be rated using a rubric that I will provide, and how you're rated by your peers and myself, and the feedback provided by your peers and myself will be provided back to you afterwards so you can use those to improve your overall project. So my project here is, does research support starting my online Ozempic business? And it's a critical analysis and synthesis of existing scholarly research to try to answer this question the best I can. And so what are my goals and what are the working hypotheses? So there are no goals. Those are your research goals. The goal and there are two goals here. A is selling Ozempic online ethical and is it profitable? And second is, if it is, where should I attempt to market it? And my target audience would be a brief report for a potential sponsor or a businessman who wants to make money from Ozempic, or in addition, I could decide to present it at Student Scholar Day on campus just so that I can add that to my resume. So that would be my target audience for my work. I'm choosing two target audiences. And there are meta goals. Meta goals are goals that are personal goals that you might want to use this project to pivot to. And this is optional. You don't have to state your meta goals, but in my case, I want to pitch this idea to the entrepreneurship center here on campus. So that's after I've done all this research, I don't want it to go to waste. I want to make money, and so that's my meta goal. So what's my working hypothesis? So, and the hypothesis here is that campus communities like Allendale may be a good place to market my Ozempic online. And on the right is a decorative figure. Decorative figures, you might have one, maybe two, but let it be intentional photos that can enhance your presentation, not something that will detract away. And so this figure, uh, jury is out whether it's a good figure or not, but just to kind of mix things up, people like figures. I put that in there. But now this figure on the right hand side is not decorative. It is the screen grab of a journal that talks about um, the the phobia or the stigma around being fat on campus. So this is relevant, a much more relevant figure. So use relevant figures where possible. And so why is this topic relevant? Well, 1 in 3 adults in the US are overweight, and 1 in 11 are severely obese. And secondly, there is increasing interest in the use of GLP-1 receptor agonists for weight loss. Notice at the bottom there is my reference for this statistic, so when you put things up, please do reference those. Um, so now I need to synthesize the papers I read. So what are the 4 papers I am included in my research? These are all primary papers, scholarly papers, and what type of papers were they? What's the methodology, qualitative or quantitative, and so on and so forth. And the population, it's you should state what the population in the study is. Um, and I've highlighted here in yellow where there is similarity. So meaning I actually pulled 4 separate papers that are not that do things differently and don't necessarily target the same population. So that makes it harder for me to make conclusions. And next, what are my independent variables? So the independent variable here is also a little bit different in all the 4 papers. In the first one, it's drug treatment, and the second one is not just drug treatment, but it's about the different types of management strategies for obesity, particularly in people with type 1 or type 2 diabetes. So, lifestyle changes, pharmacotherapy, bariatric surgery, and things like that, and their experiences with their body their body identity. Third one is about health disparity, and it's looking at geographical locations and how that predicts off-label use of Ozempic. So again, these four independent variables for these papers are also very diverse. Hopefully, that's not the case with your projects, because again, it makes your project a little bit more challenging. But please do note, though, that the overall topic theme, the idea of the use of GLP-1 receptor agonist is consistent across all four papers. And so if I go back to my original no goals, my research goals, um, is it ethical? So this talks about whether or not, this paper talks about why this supports my research, whether or not Ozempic does decrease weight. And what's this? How much of weight loss does Ozempic lead to? And next one is it ethical? And so, what are the experiences of these people that might be obese? And this paper really addresses goal B, which is where can I market it? And so this looks at geographical locations and factors um, that may explain why it might be good or bad to market it in a certain population. So now, then talk about your results, the key results. Again, I'm looking at results that support my research goals, not every single research. So if you notice here, I didn't include all the results that was in the actual synthesis document. I only included those that are most relevant to the no goals or the research questions here. And finally, identify the gaps from your readings. So because my papers are very, very all over the place. Um, my best gap that I can identify, and I don't want to say my best, the gap that I identify is there's a need to identify the knowledge, attitudes, and behaviors of college students, college age students regarding image perception and the use of measures like Ozempic versus lifestyle or behavioral strategies for weight management. And there's no such study to the best of our knowledge. And by that I mean I've searched literature and I couldn't find any papers around this. Or maybe if I did find a paper, it was not very relevant to my target population, which is college students. So that's a gap that you rationally identified from the papers you read. And so that becomes the focus for the second half of your research. So, what are you going to do? My next steps. I will start by looking at Campus Rec Center to see if it's a welcoming space. I choose I chose that because it's a place I have access to. I can easily go to and talk to staff there. I can easily go to the place and just observe and include those observations in my overall project. And then, in addition, I will find and summarize original primary articles on the perceptions and attitudes of college students to different weight management strategies and barriers that they might experience as they use such strategies. So that's it. So I have a clear understanding of what your next step is for your project and my references. Thank you.